Hi, we have a guest on.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so let's open the meeting
She's great. I don't think.
this morning of the Grafton County Commissioners. And we will start with an annual report dedication, which is always exciting and important for us to get that report out to everyone and to honor someone. So Katie, Commissioner Hedberg, please.
So we have some honored guests online. We have Katie Richards, Herlicka, and John Richards, and we have the Honorable Joyce Weston here in honor of the dedication that we are making to Martha Brown Richards, who was a Grafton County Commissioner, as well as advocate for community in general. If it's okay, I'll read at least some of the dedication so people know a little bit of her history. The Grafton County Commissioners are pleased to dedicate the 2025 annual report to former Grafton County Commissioner Martha Brown Richards. This summer, Grafton County lost a dedicated public servant, Martha Brown Richards. Martha dedicated her life to making the world a better place, and some of her proudest accomplishments were as a Grafton County Commissioner. She served 4 terms, and during that time, she was the driving force behind the biomass plant that is now called the Martha Richards Biomass Plant and the construction of the new Grafton County Jail. Martha believed in service to others. On her arrival to New Hampshire in 1980, she immediately started making her mark. Together with 2 other women, she wrote a pamphlet to highlight the businesses and services in the Plymouth area. She started the Babysitting Cooperative and a local chapter of the Girl Scouts. Other groups that benefited from her leadership were the Spear Memorial Hospital Fair, which raised money for medical equipment, and the Friends of the Arts that brought art to the local schools. Prior to her years at Grafton County, she served on the Plymouth Regional High School Board. She shared her passion, time, and energy on the board of the Grafton County Senior Citizens Council and was president of the Plymouth Area Community Club. One of her most impactful roles was as a founding member of Keep the Heat On, a program that raises funds for those in the Plymouth area facing energy insecurity. When Martha saw a need in the community or a problem to be solved, she did not give up until she found an answer. She will be missed. And on behalf of the Richards family, Joyce Weston, a dear friend and colleague, is going to accept the report, and then we will get it sent down to you, John, in North Carolina. Joyce, I'd like to present this book to you.
Thank you. And I just want to say a couple things about Martha. She was not just she didn't just do all these things that Katie just read. She was also a very good friend, a great lover of a party and good food. And we miss her for so many reasons. She's just left a huge hole in our community. So John and Katie, we will make sure you get this. It's a lovely piece. Thank you.
And I'll just open back up to the dedication page. I don't know if people can see this. So.
Thank you.
Would it be appropriate if John or Katie wanted to say a few words? I don't know if they do.
It would be lovely.
I've been able to.
Sure. All right. You should be if you wanted to say something. If not, we will continue our celebration of Martha. Oh, looks like John.
Thank you so much for the honor. We're greatly appreciated. She really loved working with all of you.
Well deserved. It is well deserved. Thank you. And I think now what we'll do is take a 5 or 10-minute break as we have some good things to taste, and we'll be back with you shortly.
And in honor of Martha, we are having some cake to celebrate.
Right, right.
Have a little reception.
Yes.
That's kind.
Thanks. You could have some.
And I just, Katie just texted me that her app is locked, so she's not able to speak. but said it was wonderful and thanked us very much.
Did you hear me?
Yes, we did.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
Thank you all for your work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And so the dedication part is over, but it was really important and we're so thankful we could honor Martha.
Thank you.
Now, you want me to send that down? Do you have his address?
I have.
My best to the ski areas.
Thank
Yes, they're doing well.
Yes.
Yeah, we can get it down.
Okay, all righty.
Oh, yeah. We have some words for
No.
briefing right now.
Oh. There he is in pink again.
It's in right.
I've seen that. Do you see that?
I did. No, I left the house, but now I do.
It's got something to do with Valentine's Day.
There you go. Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Is everyone back?
Yep. Good to go.
All right, we're back from our break and we have Scott here talking about IT. Floor is yours, Scott.
Thank you very much. Good morning. So just three things on the agenda today. Going to go over a few of the trainings and webinars I attended. Did do a lot of Microsoft training throughout the months. They were week-long trainings. Yes, 4 hours a day, 4 days, most of them were 4 days. Just so you all know, the reason why I'm doing so many trainings right now with Microsoft specifically is because as we move forward in our process with the IT department here at the county, trying to determine what is our best course. Especially with Thrive being our third-party vendor and different products that are coming available, especially with the AI world. So I've been doing a lot of trainings sitting in a lot of webinars with the new software that's coming out. So that's why you're going to see a lot of that in my.
And we are glad that you were doing that. Really?
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
So I did, like I said, I attended those five different training, 2 different webinars, all dealing with cybersecurity and AI. As far as projects go, we still have the barn Wi-Fi project plate that has been delayed now until we can actually dig, because we do need to dig a trench between the barn and where the cable comes into the goodness, I just lost track of what I'm saying. Anyway, the cable comes down through, but it's not directly into the barn. So there's a space in between that needs to be dug up to put a conduit in so that we can finish that run. That of course can't be done until the ground, there's people to be done. So we're waiting for Spectrum to let us know that they are ready to dig. So. And then as far as upcoming projects, big one for me is the 2027 budget. My first time going through it, very helpful. Sure will continue to be helpful. Better be. It's an interesting process, but it's very informational, so I'm glad to go through it actually. The nursing home has decided to go live with their intranet site March 1st. So we will be finishing up on a couple of things to have that ready for them. HR has gotten back to me with some ideas on what they want on their intranet site, so we'll be building a offsite for them. One of the very first things after, but sort of involved in the 2027 budget is getting an AI governance policy together. I do want to hopefully get some software into the budget for AI for the folks that work at the county. But we kind of need to have that governance in place before we can. So,
Seems like a good topic to include again at the next conference. I mean, it's just such a, it's such a building
That's a great idea.
issue.
Yeah.
it is.
And there may be things that counties particularly, you know, need or using or whatever that is, you know, you should even think about doing the workshop maybe.
We thought about it.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I will definitely do trainings for people when we get the
Yeah.
software ready to go. Yes. And then another big one that people may or may not be following, but they do have a new Title II ADA website compliance that is coming up in April this year, coming due in April of this year. We do actually have a process going with the state. They are testing our website for that compliance, and they will come back with a score. And actually to get a first draft actually from January. So I will go over that with you as soon as I can go over it myself, to determine, you know, what's our acceptable feeling about where we stand. That will be coming up shortly. That's really all I
So
have.
many things that I would have never thought of, so thank goodness. we
Exactly.
had
Yeah.
this.
Exactly.
I know,
Exactly.
really, it's so important right now. I mean, it's just just the
Oh, my gosh.
security alone, much less the accessibility that you mentioned and, you know, the trainings. So,
And the AI, not only the benefits, but the pitfalls.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
There are-
Bubble
But
out
there are
there.
also a lot of things.
I started with benefit. I don't want people to think I'm always negative.
Cautious is what I.
HR, I mean, HR, there's so much that could be done that employees could access through, you know, an internal website as opposed to having to call and.
Yes, yes, and they came back with a very comprehensive list of things,
Yeah,
so that's gonna be very good, yeah. I'm looking
We did
forward.
make a lot of, just side note, a lot of improvements with that. Our payroll software does have a lot of capability. Each employee has their own login and can do a lot of stuff within the employee portal through that
Nice.
too, so. But you're right, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot of things that.
Yeah, we have one at where I work and it just makes it, you can just find out things yourself without having to constantly.
that's
call and
nice.
Bother people, just simple things.
Yeah.
you know.
Any questions I can answer you for?
No, thank you.
I think, I'm not sure all the sound was turned on, but we just want to say we did thank you for your weekly updates for all the county, for the entire county. And I don't know if people heard that, but I wanted our guests here to know that you're doing that weekly and it's very helpful.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
I think it should be live, Scott, instead of like a newsletter, it should be like a webcast. Okay.
I think a podcast from the farm is even gonna be more popular.
Yeah.
I
Oh, wouldn't
apologize,
it though?
commissioners, for my attire today. I guess I was not thinking straight. I didn't have my coffee when I get dressed.
You're awake now. Well, we think you look great.
Thank you.
I hope we made that
Commissioner
clear.
McLeod thought you probably were going with the Valentine's Day theme, so.
He
run
said
with
that.
Right.
Draw a little heart right there.
Just do that.
Thanks, Sam. Good morning, commissioners,
Good morning.
executive staff. February 10th, wow, where did time go? It's above zero today. First time in the grade, yesterday we had 22 below, so
They. One more.
we're shipping. Still milking around 60, 61. Shipping around 8,900. I wrote down that there's really not a significant change in the price of milk, and I just got one of our milk checks today and it was actually down slightly. So around 16.45,
Mm.
so still fighting the milk price battle.
Mhm.
last week, during your meeting, you got a history lesson on the farm, which I enjoyed. But one of the things that was said about us being a hobby farm. And I think about that and it's, you know, when you get up and it's 22 below and you come in and you're chipping out stuff and you're milking cows, it's not a hobby farm. The Grafton County Farm, for close to 160 years now, has been primarily a dairy farm. You know, the farm was established back in the 1860s. You know, and it's been operating ever since, you know, and granted, times have changed since back then. I don't know if the commissioners are aware, but at the end of the hallway out here, at the very end, there's a room and it has a lot of old county reports. You can go to those county reports. They date back from the early 1900s. 1902 is pretty cool. You can go to that, and Grafton County statistics are towards the back of the book there, and you can look and you can see how much of an impact back then that the farm had on the county complex as it pertained to, it was called the poor farm back then.
Yep.
As it pertained to, you know, keeping people off the streets and feeding people in the nursing home and at the jail. So, you know, through the years, particular to the dairy part, the main focus of the farm today is that we have a moniker, I guess you'd call it, like all our cows are registered and they have the moniker Graffco. So through the years, you know, when you go to some of these awards, you look at these and, you know, this was a particular nice creamer thing. This is from, I can't read it, I don't have my glasses, but it looks like 1970.
Wow,
You
going
know,
back.
best female. So during and this right here, this is really cool. You'll see these throughout the county too. This is actually a mock-up replica of a particular cow that won awards. And this is the actual, what the actual cow looked like. And you can see that on the bottom. And as you go through some of the rooms through the county, you can see these all throughout the place. We mentioned the open houses we do at the farm. Well, this is something from 1921, one of the first open houses the farm did, and over 4,000 people attended this event. Now, I know it's in rough shape, but I'll pass that along.
Well, I think important to note is the last one we did was quite a while ago at this point in time. Were you a commissioner at that point in time?
It was
I mean, we
lovely.
had what, over 1,000 people come at that point in time,
Yeah.
still today, so.
Yeah, they basically ate a whole cow in Hamburg. Which,
I know.
I mean, that was a good thing. Like, you know, and again, it's, you know, the Graffco moniker before what the cow is, was something that, you know, during the later part of the 1900s, the 60s, the 70s, even the 80s, when other cow herds were looking for cows, that Graffco meant something because it was, you know, how the bred. So a lot of people say the nostalgia part is that sometimes we live in the past and these trophies and things are a result of that. But, you know, in modern times, in 2017, 2018, our herd was the herd of excellence. You know, this isn't something that every herd gets, something that we're very proud of. In recent years, we've missed this award by literally gallons of milk produced. And that's probably directly related to when we cut the size of the herd that we're milking. So, you know, this is a testament to back, you know, some of the previous farm managers and cowmen. Grafton County was renowned for the guys that were in charge of the cow herd. Probably names that you've never heard, like Bum Bigelow, Charlie Page, Russell Kennison, and the guy that we have right now, Ben White, who does a fantastic job with the cows. You know, treats them like their own kids, his own kids. You know, and if you look through some of this stuff, this is recent stuff, September 25. You know, some of the cows that we have, the awards that they receive for the top 3 categories of protein, buttermilk, and solids in their milk. I mean, the herd that we work with is renowned. You know, so it's, you know, people can say that it's a hobby farm, but all this stuff says otherwise. It's a working dairy farm that the people that work there take a lot of pride in. And we do a lot of hard work doing that. So I just wanted to give my side of the Grafton County farm history. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the history from the other perspective. But from our perspective, our farm, the Grafton County farm, has been very vital to this community for a century, over a century. And, you know, we have all the documentation and awards and county reports that can prove that. So that's my history report. Hopefully it was less than 5 minutes. Want to talk about?
Glenn, thank
Yeah,
you.
it is. It's very interesting. It's something that I've done it before with a different context. I was going back and I used to relive some of at the jail we have these old black books that go back to the 1800s when the jail was first formed, and it has every person that was entered in the jail and what the charges were. And if I had a free minute here and there, I used to, especially when I had the records dug out, we moved into the new facility to look at some of the information that there. If you have any interest in history, these things, incredible. You know, and I know history changes back, you know, decades ago, everybody from this community was from this community. You know, and now much of America, we have a lot of people that aren't from the county that have moved to the county, and it's changed that dynamic of, you know, how important some of this information is to, you know, those of us who are Grafton County residents and have been for, you know, for decades. So it's pretty cool. Thank you for your time on that. Probably I could do the cowbell one more time. More important information as it pertains to the farm. I'd like to review some of the budget information for the commissioners as we go forward in the budget process. So in fiscal year 25, the last year that we just completed, the budgeted revenue for the entire year was $415,750. And the actual revenue that the farm made was $529,000 and change. The budgeted expenses were $666,000. The actual expenses were about $100,000 less at $565,000. When we went into that fiscal year 25 budget, the budgeted deficit, what was approved when the budget was approved, was around $250,000. The actual deficit when we're done with the year, as I've reported before, was right around $36,000. But that didn't include some of the donations and stuff that we add in at the end of the year, and that calculation made it pretty much a level funded budget for all intents and purposes. Current budget that we have now, you can see that the budgeted revenue was around 435,000. Year to date we've already collected over half of that, 281,000. And I project us to come in somewhere around $450,000. That's as a minimum. I think we'll do better, but I don't want to be overly aggressive. And the same thing with our expenses. The budgeted fiscal year 26 expenses of $665,000. Year to date, we've spent again a little under half of that. And I project that we're going to again come in roughly $100,000 less than that if we can continue. That's a big knock on the wood there. If we can continue avoiding some of the expenses that we'd like to avoid and keep doing the good job that we're doing managing the money. Budgeted.
Question. So when you said if we can avoid some of the problems or whatever, what do you mean?
Well, just when I do the budget, you can see the budgeted expenses of $665,000.
Yeah.
You know, so by managing the budget, making repairs, you know,
Okay.
other things. It's
Okay,
hopefully that you're doing a good job finding the cheapest way to fix something,
okay,
so on and so forth. And that's where you know, you save money. It's no different if you're at home and you have a repair that you want to make.
okay, thank you.
Trying to do the best job you can to manage that. So the budgeted deficit for this fiscal year was right around $229,000. And unfortunately, I project that, you know, on paper anyway, that doesn't include whatever donations we do for the period. It's gonna be down around $100,000, $113,000. Hopefully, we can do a little bit better than that, but that's where we're tracking right now. For my fiscal year 27 budget projections, I'm projecting that the revenue side of things is gonna be pretty flat, so we're not gonna see a major increase given the current conditions and stuff going forward.
So is that number the 450 number, the flat number?
Yeah, around 435,000 or so. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less. In the projected expenses, you'll see are up. That's largely due to the same thing that everybody else's budgets are gonna be up, personnel costs, benefits, things like that. So right now, if I were to project the deficit, it would again be about $250,000. And what we've historically done, or at least since I've been managing the farm, is try to work back from that and do the best job that we can.
Can I ask Glenn?
Absolutely.
For your budget projections, we're not using something closer to the actuals for 25 and 26? What's gonna be, so, you know what I mean? You've had.
Yeah, I do.
years that-
Yeah, I do. I guess when I budget revenues, I've always tried to be cautiously optimistic. You know, when you're dealing with, market prices, such as the price of milk and the price of beef, I don't want to be overly aggressive and say, you know, the price of beef is going to stay up or the price of milk is going to increase or decrease. So I try to be a little bit more cautious in those estimates.
But I could, but on the expense side, you each time have managed to be about 100,000 lower
Mhm.
than what you projected.
So on the expense side, the way that I budget is I kind of budget, geez, if this happens or, you know, what's happened in the past, you know, and then I try to manage that money, you know, the best that I can going forward.
What would be the big difference, do you think, though? That's, you know, you had 565, almost 566 in 25, and your expenses were 563, it looks like in 26.
Mhm.
And you're budgeting like 130,000 more. Just wondering if your expenses might be,
Well, the projected for fiscal year 26 is the 563. That could be 563, it could be 610. You know, I still got 5 months left in the budget of expenses, hoping, you know, that something major doesn't happen in terms of equipment failure or things like that. When I do the budget, I have to anticipate, given the age of some of the equipment and stuff like that, that we might have repairs and so on and so forth.
okay, I just thought that the actual in your, what you think you're gonna do this year seemed a little rosier than what you're expecting. Just, you might wanna.
It is a little rosy, but it's not terribly rosy.
Yeah, but this kind of budget projection puts you back where we were.
It does.
Yeah,
And then we get to item number 6, capital outlay. You know, one of the things that we haven't done in a number of years, quite frankly, fiscal year 17 was the last time that we made any significant investment in doing some of the repairs, upgrading some of the equipment that we need to do. So I would project that my fiscal year 27 budget would include a request for approximately $75,000 to do some of those things. And, you know, I know you hear this from every department head. When department heads come in, they say, we really need that. you know, in our instance, that those are probably items, and I'll be more specific if we get to a budget presentation on what those are. But I just wanted to put that information out there for the commissioners. I also had a call just before the meeting from Mr. Hatch, who wanted to thank the Board of Commissioners and Julie for the information that was sent down to him. He did have some questions that I answered. And he did want some other information that I've already spoke to Superintendent Oaks about. And Mr. Hatch actually brings up a good point that in the operational budget for the farm, some of the things that aren't included are the utilities such as the water and electricity.
Mm.
So, you know, I would say that he is right about that. I don't have those figures right now. It's something that Jim's,
They're super easy. They're all broken out.
Yeah,
I mean, I can
he
give it
just-
to them and
he's Jim sending it to me, and, you know, I told Mr. Hatch that I'd make sure that he got that information, so. I just wanted the commissioners to, we have had a conversation, and, you know, whatever information he's asked for, we'll provide and best we can to explain those things. There's some things like, you know, doesn't surprise me. Jim said that we used to do a spreadsheet whenever he sent over a maintenance worker to do work on the farm. He had a breakdown of that, but he hasn't done it for several years. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in the future.
I appreciate you getting back to him.
Oh, you know, it's information, so it's a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. Any questions before my next request?
The only thing that, it's not a question, I appreciate you giving us some advanced information on the budget, but with your historical presentation, there was that lovely video that was done by the Holstein Association that recounts a lot of this history, so it may be something that we could find a link and put in our meeting minutes to the YouTube from the Holstein Association. And then some people who may have some questions about the history, it was well delineated. So I would request if we could put that link in, and it just ties into what you
That
said.
would be an awesome idea. That's way above my technological.
Well,
But I know Samantha.
I know
can-
Samantha can do that.
I would think it is the one that's on the website, yeah.
You know, I had a tough time getting a lamination copy. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
So I do have a request for a non-public session to discuss a personnel issue.
Great, I'll make a motion to go into non-public, excuse me, non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parentheses, A, close parentheses.
Second. And Commissioner Piper, you. vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Hedberg?
Yes.
Commissioner McLeod?
Yes.
In accordance with,
Okay, wow.
And I believe the sheriff was down the hall.
Yes.
How's it? What's next?
okay, to open this door?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I can't remember what it was.
Another grant.
Because it felt like the same thing when I looked at it as we just did.
No, it's a different, it's totally different. It's more for equipment, not, it's combining the two though.
Oh.
So. If, when you look at it, it says it takes it from 8,500 to 31, because it's a combination of the grants. Morning.
Good morning.
Don't be
Yeah.
careful when you say it.
Because of
That why this is here.
Yeah, don't use that chair.
Because of what?
Even in the cold, even in the cold.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
All right, we have something.
It was all the way out to
Yeah.
the lobby last
When
time.
I walk out
Yeah.
that way, I'm like, oh, that must be here.
Yeah.
All right, when did you send this?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. We had so much.
It came in at
I
11:48.
did send you a lot yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I thought that was the agenda. Oh, that was.
It said the
Add to
agenda
the
has been
agenda.
updated.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, got it?
Yep.
All right, thank you. I think we're all set.
Okay, so previously you guys had approved we got the grant from, highway traffic safety. Speed enforcement, distracted driving and DUI patrol. So we only have 3 cruisers currently that have radar units in them. And that's what this amended grant is. We got approved for 4 more in-car radar units and a LiDAR unit, which is just a laser. And then we also got approved for 13 printers, which would allow us to print tickets rather than sit. I don't know if you've ever seen a citation, but it's about this long and you have to fill it all out roadside. It's kind of dangerous. So this will allow us to, I mean, dispatch is already running everything when we stop a car. So this will allow them to input it immediately.
wow,
It's just a quicker process.
yeah.
So we got approved for all that stuff. We have to match, the new match requirement is $6,611.38. We do have 2 line items that we have money available to do that out of our budget. And that's pretty much most of it. If you guys have any questions.
I had a question, and really, it is, I'm trying to find, I think it's in the second part of it, but one of it said that the cars needed to be used at least 50% for speed enforcement or something, and are we doing that?
Currently, we have a few deputies that they get multiple car stops a day. So I would say yes. Anything we're over that 50%.
Where exactly
Yeah, I was
are they-
gonna say,
where
yeah,
exactly are they
something
doing that, Jill?
Well, mainly the towns that don't have the staffing right now. So like smaller towns that don't have the staffing, I think.
Yeah, that was in the second part, where primarily used for
Oh, yeah,
traffic
I see that.
enforcement. I thought,
And do we have them that are 50% enforcement?
that was my question.
Yeah, I would say there's probably 2 of our cars that are mainly just transports and civil paper. But that's kind of like the shift we went to. We've dedicated people towards transports and civil process, and then the rest of them are on warrants and patrol. Jumping on other calls with other agencies, whatever it might be. But yeah, speed enforcement is a big part of that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
I guess going back to that, you said we were getting 13 printers. And how does that work with, we have 13 cruisers that are gonna be more than 50% enforcement?
No, so the printers are for anything from, we can do like a hand summons on them. If we stop someone and they don't have a license to drive, we can do a hand summons on them. It can be anything that's not any motor vehicle enforcement that's not related to speed. So if someone's got defective equipment, whatever it might be, running a stop sign, so on. But
Yeah, cause
the printer, because we're not getting enough radar units because they're quite expensive.
Yeah, it just says mobile data terminal equipment with internal GPS and or scanner. Is that the printer you're talking about? Cause that says the 2 things on the last page.
Yeah, so currently everyone has a MDT, mobile data terminal, in their cruiser.
Okay,
And then the printer will just be an added thing in like the armrest in each car. And again, we're not gonna have radar units in every car, so.
but
That's
even the
where-
ones without radar, you believe will fit in this grant?
Yeah.
I just don't wanna have to pay money back.
Yeah, no, I think it will be good. And this will allow us to go out and do more patrols, motor vehicle patrol.
Anything else?
No, that was my only question. I just,
All set. Anyone want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the grant application for traffic enforcement as presented today.
Does that work for you, Julie?
So this was the weird one last time. I don't know if that really
Okay,
needs to be in
I
the
will-
minutes.
It will, so if we
Okay.
have it, I will make sure we have the right verbiage.
Have the language to.
Yeah, they sent the exact language that I'm looking for.
The Board of Commissioners in a majority vote had previously accepted the terms of the Highway Safety Grant Agreement in the amount of $8,500, and now the Board of Commissioners in a majority vote is accepting the amended grant terms of the speed and crash printers equipment as presented in the grant agreement amendment notice in the amount of $22,933 for an adjusted total grant limitation of $31,433.
And do we need to approve spending out of any other line item to get the match?
No.
No.
But didn't we have to, was this the grant we had to give them the permission, somebody, whoever signed it, the authority to sign it too? That came from them, so that's. what
This,
they
it
want.
says approve verbiage.
What do you, like, we give the sheriff and the chair, or the chairman of the board of commissioners, the authority to execute any and all documents needed to.
I think that was the Northern Shield.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Right, any other questions? All in favor?
I,
Motion passes.
Do you want this?
I was gonna ask if I could
And I changed the select board to Board of Commissioners. That's for not.
You can
the
have
select
that.
board.
And I don't know if you printed one out too. I have,
Mine is writing all over. This.
well, I circled one number, but I think it's okay. So.
And then I was like, oh, shoot. I need to- So for all three of them to sign, yeah, plus B. Thanks.
And then there's initials on the other pages.
There's the initials on the second and third page, the initial. You know what, are you, me and Commissioner, we're the three that need to sign?
Yep.
Okay, that's, I was thinking it's the commissioners, but it's not. And you have somebody else. Do you want Holly to notarize it, or do you stay over?
We have someone over there. Unless you want to do it now.
Well, notarize it. It's notarized.
Okay.
I appreciate the grant funding that you and your
Mhm.
are finding.
We just found two for True Narcs. I know that the different towns got one through the opioid abatement fund, but we just found a grant for them. Might look at that. A different type of.
Yeah. You've met him when he was on into the programs department. When we've done the tour. Yeah, yeah, because when we went, I think he heads it. He left to another.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. I don't know if we could talk about that today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Back up.
I think she should just say notarized.
We can roll on. Okay, let's talk about the minutes from February 3rd.
I had just a couple, I think I added a word,
Yeah,
I added an R, A-R-E, and I added a period at the end of the.
I had one minor typo and on the New Hampshire Association of Counties it was supposed to be a negative 13,000 and it didn't, so I added that
When did I-
negative sign.
When did that come in?
It was late, because later than usual, 2/6, Friday.
No, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
meant the,
the other thing,
yeah,
um.
I saw it. No, no.
Monday,
Yesterday, last
Monday
week.
afternoon,
Yesterday?
Yeah. Afternoon, 1 o'clock.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended for February 3rd?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And now we're signing check registers.
Paper has a superior court report. I started that way and.
Okay, good. Now, I'm thinking this may not have gone to you, true.
I forwarded it.
Oh, you did.
Oh,
thank you.
good.
It did not
Okay,
start with administration.
Right.
and did it go to
It did.
HR?
Not go to anyone
No.
other than the three of
No,
you.
no,
I don't know that it went to Superintendent Lethbridge.
right.
Okay, so should we just state what we're talking about here, since we received an email from
Sure.
Sergeant Dean?
Yep.
From over at the Department of Corrections. Related to the handbook and the interpretation of the end time accrual provisions in that handbook. And my suggestion would be that we send this to the administrator and HR.
Yep.
And have them come back at the next meeting.
Yep.
And give us some interpretation of what. Or,
We can do that.
Thank you.
right.
So that you want me to go?
No, social service, that's,
So I just wanted to update you. First of all, you all have your own individual pile of social service applications from this year for fiscal year 27 that we have received. I think they're in alphabetical order and all set up for you to go through and review. Last week we talked about the fact that we hadn't gotten
Mhm.
applications from 4 agencies that we have funded for many years in the past. I have since received applications from Wise, who apologized profusely for missing the deadline. Voices Against Violence said they had sent theirs, and it, because it was so big, apparently it didn't ever make it to
Oh,
us. So
okay.
we've resolved that and we now
Good.
have their application as well. I heard from the executive director at the Bridge House on Sunday, I think he emailed me. They apparently have had a passing of one of their senior leadership people on January 22nd at the Bridge House, and
Okay.
things have been a little hectic for them.
Okay.
So they just completely
Sure.
missed it. I gave him till this Friday to get that application to us, so
Thank
I
you, Julie.
anticipate that we'll have that. I've emailed and called VNA of Vermont and New Hampshire, and I've at this point not heard back from them, so I'm not going to continue to pursue
Yep.
that.
There,
I called the number on the application and the voicemail that I got was for, not the individual's name that, so I don't know if the individual that submitted the application last year is no longer there, but I did leave a message why I was calling and I haven't heard back. So that's the update on the social service.
So all of them
application.
except the VNA?
Yep.
Good, nice job.
So you can figure out what process. You know, the other thing, I didn't print them, Sam did, and I haven't looked at them, but I think like last year, they're sort of all over the place in the information that you've received. What I will say that I did notice when I sent you out the information about the adapt request that we received, I went back and looked at the Valley Court one, and it looks to me like he sent you last year's application from Ellen. So
Ooh,
I don't know if you want to take a peek through them sooner rather than later and identify if there's information from certain agencies that you don't have or that you have questions about, or whatever, then we can reach, like Sam brought up yesterday, one of them, she's like, this only has 2 pages. So I reached out and they're like, oh, we forgot to send you this stuff. So that would be my suggestion, is that you just take a peek through, not a detailed review, but just look at the information that you have and see if
okay.
put through differently, and then you can figure out how you're gonna come up with your budget recommendations.
is it easily identifiable in here which ones are going, that are essentially eligible for the opioid abatement funds?
Oh,
I haven't honestly looked at them.
No,
We did ask, that's a question. So if you turn to first, it's a question we added to.
There's a program
Yes.
requesting funding for provides.
And the first one does not answer it.
Abatement
Yeah,
line.
the first one did not answer that. So, no,
Unless these are who, unless these, it's not clear,
and that's Archways.
unless
So,
they are, obvious,
I
they
mean,
are.
that's where we're funding Archways out of this year, is out of the opioid fund.
So I'm wondering if the answers they gave are in fact the opioid, that's what my guess would be rather than that. So those would be clarifications that we need to do, okay? Because that's
We
the
just-
work that we do.
what's she referencing?
If you can
This
just go
does
through
the
and jot
program
down
you were
those things.
requesting.
I
And this one. didn't.
No, I think they did answer it. I think these are the numbers that they gave. In other
Maybe they
words,
interpret that as
They
the
interpreted that as the
the
question, the
little one
response.
underneath, yeah,
Yeah,
could be.
because that is the work that they do. Okay, so we need to just jot down notes about any of them that need clarification on that, and maybe they will all be.
Yeah, and I just don't want you to wait until, you know,
Right.
the first week of April, and then we want
Yep,
clarification
yep.
and then not have
Yeah.
time to get that for you all, so. In the next week or two, you could go through and just take a peek and see if there's stuff you want. We will get that for you.
Okay.
I have 2 CDBG drawdown warrants that need to be signed. The first one's from GRDC for the micro. It is $500 and it just needs your signature. Commissioner. In a couple of different places. And the second one is for the Lakes Region Planning Commission, the transformational planning grant, drawdown is $32,018.58. Anywhere you really want to sign, yeah, there you go.
Now the ones.
Yeah, so the next thing I have on. Oh, yeah, the next thing on the thing is just to talk a little bit about the conference. I first wanted to show you
Oh,
conference
nice.
logo for this year.
Very
If
nice.
You know, anybody, there's an executive committee, this was adopted as the new logo.
Yeah,
for
it's
the-
really
for the
nice.
town-
Yep.
Association, so that's gonna be the logo for the conference this year. We've pretty much refined the schedule, other than Monday night details of what's happening for the county cup, we've got too many ideas, so we need to refine and bring that all together, but we're working on that. The sponsorship stuff is pretty much all put together and just waiting till we finalize the agenda to get that stuff started to go out. And one of the things we need to finalize that is the theme for the conference. So last week, we had come up with some suggestions, and then as planning group, we came up with our recommendation that I sent off to all three of you. Two of the three of you liked it a lot, one of you didn't.
Oh,
Love
okay.
it. So, regardless, I was gonna bring it
You
to
didn't
all
like
of you for, vote. So, let's talk about that. Suggestion that we had come up with and sent was resilient counties in a changing world.
But like, what does that? And then I looked
Repurposing.
up what it meant and I thought, well, maybe that's what it should say instead.
What do you mean you looked up what it meant? Where did you look?
Well, I just looked up what is like, on AI, like,
Oh.
what does that mean? And
What did you?
Meeting current needs.
Well, and the other suggestion that I had was county government ready for what's next. We're just trying to, I mean, I think what we were trying to maybe base it on is that clearly we live in a changing world right now. And that counties are having to
Mhm.
pivot and adapt to that changing world and
survive, adapt and thrive.
Is that the AI thing that you got? What did you put into AI? Resilience?
I think I just wrote that in and I'm like, what does that mean?
so Commissioner McLeod had suggested resilient counties in a changing world. Survive, adapt and thrive, surviving, adapting and thriving. I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
What's the original resilient counties in a
Changing
changing world? That's it. And so just add a
What does it
survive,
mean?
adapt and thrive.
Well, what does that mean to people? I don't know. I mean, are we gonna tell, and then it sort of drives it should then drive what you have for workshops and stuff. Your theme is supposed to be connected to.
It'll be connected to some.
All right, maybe I'm getting too deep into it then, is that what you're saying?
And I think also like and then it comes down to like how the printout would fit on a cup or whatever, I guess you don't want it to be too long.
Super long, even not
Yeah.
just short, sweet and.
I think
Most
part of the
people-
logo that
Most people know
know what
it means.
resilience means. I think, we may have slightly different interpretations, but it's being able to come back from, or change and
Everything.
adapt to
Mhm.
what
But
has
what's
to
the
happen.
Opioid
changing world
grants.
that we're in? What's that
Oh my
mean?
God.
Is that, I don't know.
I think that's a little much, because I think
Even for today's.
there's many things in a changing world. And I think, in some ways, the way I looked at it is so many things are changing that many talks are going to fit into different ways the world is changing.
Okay.
We talked about
A little more
like even
interesting, except,
even your suggestion for AI or cybersecurity, Register Mayan has had a suggestion for a session about the same type of thing, AI, cybersecurity.
Mhm,
Those are
mhm.
obviously changing things in our world that we're all having to learn and figure out.
It also seems to me, yeah, the suggestion kind of hit me, like I really appreciated it because of the changing world. I mean, we all agree that it's an incredibly changing world right now. And so, okay, so you, Commissioner McLeod said, adapt, survive, adapt.
survive, adapt, thrive.
Okay, so just a comment then, survive, adapt, thrive. I wish that we could, if we put a little subtitle on it, I wish that we could make it more about how we are, like, based on our conversation this morning, you know, in the farm history, how we meet current need. Survive, adapt, thrive, to me, sounds a little bit like it's about county government itself versus what the purpose of county government is. The purpose isn't to thrive or survive. The purpose is to adapt. I like the adapt. Adapt and serve. I don't know. I just,
Yeah.
it's the survive and thrive that makes it about how
Well,
to.
that's the problem with the word resilient is, right? It means you're in a bad place and you're trying to get through it and come out.
Well, I guess
No,
it's not
true.
always,
True.
it means that you can adapt to, you know, resilient. I don't always have it as a negative, I guess is my point.
I mean, we're open to suggestions if you wanna just scrap it and start over again, but I kinda gotta have one in the next like week, so.
No, I'm not gonna stand in that way. I'm just,
Yeah, Danielle's be checking in this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, think about, I mean, resilient counties, it just, we're sort of revisioning, we're doing things that we didn't used to do. You know, we had the COVID funding, we served our population, we gave grants that were very appreciated. I mean, all of those things, I would think, help us to adapt and serve. They make us resilient, maybe, they don't. The opioid, we're being very proactive or astute about the way that we're using that money, you know, to meet the need.
or maybe it's thriving. Changing the world.
Mm. Well, I don't know.
Hmm.
I was one that liked the. I don't mean to throw.
No, it just landed flat for me, you know.
You know, and I would be open. I will say I'm not someone who always appreciates a subtitle because I think it's just extra that people don't pay attention to.
The changing world is fabulous, I think. The changing world. And because we sure are. Anywhere you look, or not.
How about county governments adapting in a changing world? I don't know, I just,
But that's resiliency.
so I can just.
You don't want to say thriving in a changing world?
But I'm not sure, but I think that's the issue is that counties have to figure out how to thrive, that we're not
Yeah.
all thriving right now. That we're trying and we're working towards that.
So leaving it kind of as an open question, resilient counties, how we remain resilient in a changing world, just going back to the
What's that?
original.
How
What?
about county government adapting today, leading tomorrow?
I like that.
That's very
Oh,
nice.
sorry. That just sounds really.
No, that's good.
I'm sorry, can I just offer, since now I'll be the odd person out, that sounds really trite. And that might be my professional background.
We're AI.
Are we gonna have to?
Yeah, exactly. It smells
Yeah.
like AI. Yeah, see, that's not your idea. That was, I'm criticizing the AI, surviving, adapting, thriving. Yeah, they just. Meeting current challenges.
Planning for the future.
Reimagining.
Planning for the future, meeting the present, planning for the future.
Reimagining needs in a rapid.
Why does everything I say fall flat? I think I'm doing.
Clearly, I should have just said that looks that.
I was wondering what the other reactions were gonna be, because I wrote back really fast and said, oh, it sounds great.
I did, I said it, I think resilience is a great theme and we can branch off in many different directions.
It leaves it as an open question.
Right,
What are your needs? What are my needs?
because I think the counties are gonna be different come November
Oh,
than they are
goodness.
today.
Yeah, good, really good point.
Yeah, I always think of resilience as people have been through a tough time and they have to, they still go forward and find the strength to do that, so.
Our people have been, our employees have been through a rough
Oh,
time.
I think county government's been through. a
Yeah,
rough
That's
time.
what I meant.
We've survived a lot.
Absolutely.
So how does anyone outside of us feel about it? That's probably more important even. Like, what's the other?
I like the simplicity of what,
I like that was my
you know,
vote, was the original. That was sent to you guys.
I also am one for simplicity, and I thought that it touched on two things that will be, no matter what the title is, that we're gonna be addressing at the conference.
I was kind of proud of it. I was kind of proud that we were offering, I find it a very inclusive, expansive, whatever theme that is really needed right now.
Yeah, it's not that important. I just have a negative view of the word resilience.
Julie, real quick, so with the workshops and the programming, I remember we talked a while ago about the possibility of bringing in workshops, ideas beyond just you know, speaking to the members of the affiliates,
Right,
like something that
right.
helps us to
Yeah.
do a better.
So we're trying to look for some broader topics that are, more inclusive of more different.
Is there something from the national meeting that you two went to that really hit the mark?
We do have a NACO, we have planned that we'll have a NACO speaker at lunchtime on Tuesday. I'm more looking for a keynote speaker because the conference hasn't started with a keynote speaker for a number of years, and that just, to me, conferences should kick off with
I
a
agree, and
keynote
they should be
speaker who
talking
should
about
be
the
talking,
theme.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're working on that too. So Monday morning, we'll have an actual keynote speaker.
Nice.
Other than that, welcome plenary thing that takes 10 minutes where they tell you where everything is. And
Yeah, and there's never anything actually going on.
Yeah.
There was some really, not the last conference, but the conference before that, there was some incredible information on housing, how to, what the problem is with housing, whether it's private investment or whatever, like, ways that things that are affecting us. And I heard a really wonderful conversation he was the secretary, he's really well known. This was under the Biden administration. Vilsack, the Commissioner of Agriculture,
Right.
he gave a really slam dunk talking about the changing federal government role in agriculture and how that was impacting small farmers, especially in the worldwide economy.
One I found very interesting, but I don't know how applicable it is to the way New Hampshire does the counties, was leveraging outdoor recreation to encourage small businesses. The person who did it was from Pennsylvania and talked,
Yeah.
and they had there's a huge, I like bike trail. I don't know if it's a rail trail, but something along those lines, and that how businesses were popping up
Yeah.
on the edges of towns near, near the trail, whether it was bike stores or repairs
Yeah.
or small
Yeah.
eateries and
We
that
have a
kind of
ton of
thing.
those up here.
And we have a
St.
lot,
Littleton.
and we don't manage those trails. Part of it is Pennsylvania had those trails, but we have them through other avenues, but ways to encourage businesses based on recreation, because that's really what a lot of our
I think
economy
we
is
have a
based on.
recreation focused person in the Department of BEA, whatever that, business and economic, something,
Something.
whatever that stands for.
So,
There's a person that's just focused on the outdoor recreation.
but that was really interesting on all the different types of businesses that were popping up and were being encouraged.
In another place, the US Forest Service, and we may have all kinds of trails that a lot of people
Right.
don't know
Yeah.
about. that
This is Grafton County, like
Yeah.
what are our
Yeah.
pluses? I'm thinking, when you say that about leveraging the outdoor resources for recreation and business building, I'm thinking of Franklin with their new
Yes,
whitewater
right.
rafting.
Mhm, yeah.
And I remember hearing up in Littleton, it wasn't, it was breweries, other things that were intended to serve the young
Yeah.
population that
And
was
you
coming
see,
in.
the North Country has stanchions or whatever you call them, like wayfinding things in a number of places, like at the Iron Furnace Brewery,
Oh.
over at Restless. They have, and then there's all kinds of bike trails that they've developed in Franconia, Littleton and Bethlehem.
Didn't Sullivan do something like this a couple years ago? So I don't want to it seemed to me that they had sort of that place bound driving through the resources in the area, the natural, maybe not.
I wasn't at, I didn't go to that conference, so I don't know that.
No, it wasn't Sullivan. It was Cheshire. I thought it was Cheshire. Never mind. I don't know.
And then, I mean, the whole land, a lot of the counties have land and some have done those, you know, done some of that study work. You could have someone like Harrison come in and do how to set up a land trust. And I'm sure there's other things going on in some of the other counties around that, how to use their property.
Don't other counties besides us, we have the last dairy farm. Aren't there other counties that still have some farm operations?
There's some counties that still work the land to some aspect, not in great detail, I guess.
So that wouldn't necessarily be a need then, because I'm just thinking in terms of Grafton County, what makes us unique, how to
Yeah,
leverage that, but I guess that wouldn't really serve.
but they all do have cooperative extension, or most of them do.
They're
Somebody,
always interesting,
yeah.
cooperative
Right,
extension.
they must have some interesting programs they could bring in.
And the conservation
Conservation
districts did one
yeah.
last year. I believe
Yeah.
it was the conservation districts, and they just highlighted what the different areas were doing.
Extension could do it in almost all
Mhm.
areas.
We will do some research and see what we can come up with some.
Great,
some
thank you.
Ideas.
Nice.
Now. Is that what's on the agenda next? I don't have. the-
Yes,
MRI.
MRI
I just want to
report.
let you know that the MRI report is on the website. It is in a round circle in the middle of the website. So it's up, available. Obviously, you all know, but they will be here, Dawn Bliss and a couple of other people next Tuesday at 10 a.m. to review the report. So if anybody wants to see it ahead of time, the report is up on the website under EMS study.
EMS study, right?
Great, looks great.
Thank you for doing that.
So the next thing is the adapt request that we got that I had sent out to you yesterday afternoon, I think. This came in on, well, it's dated February 3rd. I'm not sure exactly what day I got it, but, and it's a request, as you I'm sure saw or read, for funding, for youth, to support youth substance abuse prevention and juvenile court diversion programming. Little history lesson, through the alternative sentencing budget years ago, we used to provide funding to both Katy and Valley Court Diversion. We provided juvenile court diversion in the northern part of the county. Katy did it obviously in the Plymouth area, and Valley Court did it in the Lebanon area. So we funded our own, and then we provided funding to the other two agencies. Some years ago, at the time, alternative sentencing director, who is not our current alternative sentencing director, came and said, you know, their numbers are very low. I would propose that we do the funding on a fee for service basis versus just giving them money, to support whatever they're supporting with their programs. That did not go over well. One of the agencies primarily, reached out to, at the time, one of our legislative representatives, And in that particular fiscal year budget, Katy and Valley Court Diversion got added into the social service budget at a $25,000 funding level and has been that way ever since that. I would say that was maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah, ish.
So, obviously, if you look at your goals for social services and, the word's not coming to me right now, it's the recidivism at the jail or keeping people out of the jails. Obviously, juvenile court diversion can be tied to that. This request from ADAPT goes on to, so in your social service request this year, you have requests both again from Katy and Valley Court Diversion. I think it's pretty clear that Valley Court Diversion, that's what they do. They do court diversion in the Upper Valley. They're based out of White River, but they do court diversion out of Lebanon District Court. I don't believe, and I think Commissioner Hedberg, you've had some conversation with Katy. I don't believe they're doing any court diversion.
They are not doing any. I'd asked them before and we didn't do anything. It was mid-cycle. We didn't claw back any money. And I was at the retirement dinner for Deb Narrow and they did talk about what they were doing and that they had stopped the court diversion in 2025. I don't remember the date. Not, it was a financial decision. So they are not doing it.
So it appears that ADAPT, who I think is out of Lincoln.
I actually know that they do a lot in Lincoln. The address on this is Campton, but that might perhaps be in a home office of the executive director. Or it says Campton. They do a lot of work in the Lincoln area. I've known the executive director for years. He used to be my neighbor before he moved up to Campton or Lincoln or wherever he lives now.
So I'm guessing they've taken over.
Yeah, it sounds that
for
way.
what
Was Katie.
Katy was doing.
Mm.
So I guess, so my couple of questions to you were, do you want them to fill out a social service application so that it's the same type of application that you're getting from Valley Court Diversion and Katy? I did read through Katy's yesterday. It seems like they're requesting funding basically for their community outreach educational stuff that they're doing around juvenile substance use. Which I think from my historical perspective is different than what we started funding them for, because I think we started funding them for their court diversion services. So that's gonna be a decision that you all have to make, but I do think if ADAPT is now doing the juvenile court diversion, that it's fair to consider, if we're gonna fund Valley Court for the same exact thing, I don't know why we wouldn't somehow come up with.
And that it would be through social
And
services.
I would think, and when you sent, I was thinking we would want an application like we got from everyone else. Right.
And then it's coming out of the same because of the problem that we had before. And everybody ultimately agreed with Valley Court Diversion and Katy to move them. I mean, we compromised. We wanted to go to fee for service and then they ended up, because they were before just a part of the budget, right? So we put them in social services and that seemed to be a compromise with everyone that everyone agreed to after a contentious debate. So I would want this to be treated, I would want ADAPT to be treated the same way, same category.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
as well, and
Yeah.
so I thought it would be, I can respond to
Allison.
asking and sending her the application,
Yep.
asking her to fill the application out and then getting that to you to go into your file, and then you can sort of figure out amongst yourself how you're gonna just add $25,000 in funding ADAPT, or if you
Okay.
want to do something different with Katy.
It would also be interesting to look at their numbers,
Right.
both for what the other programs they do, but really their restorative justice. But it looks like the person who sent us the letter She is the coordinator. And so it looks like they were asking us primarily for the restorative justice,
Mhm.
is the way I read it. I don't know if anyone else did.
That's what I'll do then. I'll get, an email out there asking and send her the application and ask her to get that filled out and sent back to us. So that you have that to consider with all of the rest of them that you have.
Okay.
We have audit bids that need to be opened. Basically, we just having you open and record them, and then I'm gonna take them and do a, review of them so that I can make a recommendation to you like next Tuesday. The first one is from, Vashon Puke, who are our current auditors. I don't know what these look like, so. Should be on the schedule some.
At the end.
Page 24.
Right, so they've given us 3 years, and I'm assuming that's what they asked for?
Yep.
Um. And just has to do this. Basically, divided into financial statement audit and a discount applied, so then a total. So 47,500 minus a discount of 2,500, so 45,000. For the 26 audit. Similarly, a 47,000 for the 27 audit and 49,000 for the 28 audit. Then they also include an hourly rate for additional services of $115 to $250 an hour. They separate out their hourly rate with their partner, manager, senior, and staff. The partner's $250, a manager's $200, a senior staff is $150, and staff is $115.
The other proposal that we received is from CLA. CLA has. We started out with Melanson Heath. They became Markham. Now I believe this becomes CLA.
Oh, my goodness.
Changing.
They just keep becoming bigger national accounting
Really?
firms.
Mm.
Yeah.
So their cost proposal is on page 24 and 5. And there's set up a little differently, but for each of the years. For 2026, the financial audit, 64,000 plus a single audit cost of 7,000 for a total of 71,000. And 2027 is 65,500. Single audit goes up to 7,500 for a total of 73,000. And for 2028, the audit is 67,000. The single audit is 8,000 for a total of 75,000. They also give us their hourly rates. For the signing director, 400, managing director, 250, a senior staff, 175, associate, 150.
So I need to confirm, I need to go through these in detail, but the other couple standout things, I believe, and I'll need to confirm this, but currently our rate with Vashon includes our single audit, so,
Okay.
I would assume that that's the same here, but I will confirm that. The other thing I would would point out is that on the CLA, it says assumes one major federal award program annually. That's for the $7,000. This current year, we have 3 federal programs. We have so much grant money, so that number would increase probably based on the fact that there were 3 of them, not just if in fact we still have as much grant money next year as we have, or this year as we currently had last year. So I will go through and thoroughly review these, and come up with a recommendation for you for next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Holly and I will go through.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I'm glad we got two bids at least. We've got something to compare,
Yeah.
contrast.
I think that's all I have.
That's yours.
I think
Okay.
I'm done.
All right, commissioners, any,
I do, and I have notes in my office. Can I run and
Okay.
get those?
When you're talking about the mail, Vashon Priority mailed theirs on Thursday and they called Friday and said, can you please let us know when we get it? Because there's so much issue with the mail. We're not sure you'll get it before Monday, but it did come yesterday.
well, and my guy that does my taxes just sent me a note that said he actually did
Finally
receive
received
that
that.
thing that went all over the country.
Mr. Monahan, help yourself to a piece of coffee cake if you'd like one. No, thank you. They're big notes.
I know. If you knew how this happened, it's lucky that this is. Okay, so this is just for my colleagues, in case, just some information if you should have this kind of request, in the future. So I had a gentleman call me Saturday afternoon. And he was concerned about being able to arrange for bail for somebody who had just been incarcerated. And I think there was a little bit of distress. And so the issue was, I've talked with the DOC and I've talked with the Plymouth Police Department, and both are telling me that they don't call a bail commissioner, that they don't have anything to do with the bail commissioners. And he was pretty much at a loss. And so I called the DOC and I spoke with two extremely helpful people. The first one, and this is just to give praise, is it Lowy, Officer Lowy or Lowy? Officer Lowy was extremely helpful as much as she was able to be, since this was a little out of her bailiwick in terms of how to help somebody to arrange for.
I got that.
Oh, I didn't even do it on purpose. Okay, wow, cool. Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, okay, wow. And then she offered to, so she helped me as much as she could. And then she asked me if I wanted to speak with the supervisor in charge, and I said, sure. And she passed me through to Corporal Lincoln, and Corporal Lincoln gave me really, really good information. And she said, so just for your information going forward, we used to have relationships with bail commissioners through the DOC. We used to have a professional relationship. We don't anymore. I think she said something, I'm being very informal, something like it was, they just were vacancies that nobody wanted to, no commissioners had stepped forward to be in this relationship with Grafton County. And she told me that there is a person who does help arrange for bail with the DOC, and that she would call them herself and see if she could get a hold of them and see if they would be willing to help. And so then I was charged with calling back, I don't know whose constituent it was, but I called him back and gave him the information. She said, Corporal Lincoln said, just give me 20 minutes to see if I can figure something out. So they were just so helpful in terms of helping these people that were in a vulnerable position. So I appreciated that.
Interesting that. I'm just wondering if you thought about the county attorney.
I thought about everything.
Yeah.
I was Googling at the time, and it was a Saturday afternoon,
Yeah.
and Corporal Lincoln said, I have no idea if somebody would,
Right.
want to do this on a Saturday afternoon. I Googled all over the place, trying to figure out how best to serve him. And then, so I felt like, and then he said, when I called him back, he said that he had heard that he could arrange for bail through the Lebanon Police Department. So it was just interesting that Plymouth was like, no, we don't do that. And the DOC was, and I'm sure they were very gracious about it, but the DOC were very gracious about it. But there's a reason why it's not able to be done. They're happy to help, but they simply have no relationship with the bail commission.
That I had heard too, that things changed so much with the law that changed.
Oh,
where
seriously?
There was no, so many didn't need bail anymore because of the idea that
Oh,
bail is a
okay.
costly. thing,
Oh,
that-
we didn't get into that.
that
Okay.
whole change in the law, and then now it's changed back, so I
Interesting.
think they lost a lot of people that. were doing
Okay.
that.
Okay, that's probably what happened then. That's what I have.
And it needs to get.
Hey,
kind of
Julie, you just
rebuilt
have to
system.
turn it and flip it around.
Yeah.
It's typical Wendy style.
Here, this will, but I show you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
that looks
Then I'm
good.
gonna tell you my story about how this happened in the first place.
Usually I have them in here.
So that's
Okay.
interesting. I hadn't given thought that there wasn't a easy
Quick
way
ban
for
on
people
weekends.
to get bail on the weekend. I had not given that thought.
Yeah.
The only thing I have is, I mentioned it briefly, is I did represent the Board of Commissioners at Deb Narrow's
Yeah,
retirement
thank you.
party on Friday. It was very nice. There were several quite long letters before it was my turn,
Oh, dear.
and so I
Didn't.
I did not read the entire commendation, which was lovely. Sam put it together. It was lovely. I did a little synopsis and thanked her from the county and the commissioners for her years of service to our youth.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't have anything. I think we'll just have public comment. And Register Monahan is in the room.
Tuesdays, I'm got one ear on county municipal hearing and here, but as I'm filing. So I did hear my name mentioned, and shot back, you were talking about the county conference. For clarification purposes, I requested twice to participate in planning and it's not heard back, so I guess my planning input, creativity is not required. In the meantime, I mentioned to you once that I think it's 10 or 12, probably 12 years ago, we had a problem and our affiliate brought in Homeland Security and we had Ballroom. We had commissioners, there was huge attendance because it was an issue with fraudulent liens. And we brought them in and we had really great attendance. So that's sort of, I think we're ready for that again. It is on the agenda, as I emailed Julie the other day, for our March the 10th Register of Deeds meeting. We're going to discuss, we have one very active situation with AI that I don't want to get into in public. We have another situation that I'd like them to cover, Homeland Security. But what I'm looking for is not just a generic AI coverage. This is just very specific to the needs that we see happening right now. And so we'll reach out to that and either our president, Kathy Verville, will reach out to CISA or I will for designee, but that's sort of what we're looking to do with that.
Good.
Okay.
Changing world.
Very helpful.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Now back to county municipal. Thank you.
Okay, that's it. We don't have any public online.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.